Hello everybody and a warm welcome back to Old Racing. It is myself, Zabi, and we are back with another round, and it's round 9 of this season, of course. First stream back from the break of 2 weeks. After 2 weeks of breaks, now the race for last week, unfortunately I couldn't be there for some reasons, but we are around here and ready to go racing already. We're going to have somewhat of fun. So it's at Abu Dhabi. Usually we see the final round of the season to be at Abu Dhabi, but it's a second last round to be at Abu Dhabi season round 9. So it's definitely going to be somewhat fun and definitely interesting racing to go around here as well. It's going to be nothing but some great fun. And it's myself, Zabi, and once again we are back with all of this action, to say the least. And obviously I've got a brand new mic as well from when we last streamed, so hopefully that's going to be somewhat new experience and better as well. So just before we get started and see cars out on track, let's have a look at the drivers' standings and all the constructors as well. So Leo currently leads the Drivers' Championship with 164 points to his name and 116 to Cook MP2. So 48 points he leads by, and and the next weekend, the final race of the season is a sprint race. So by that and by those calculations, he should lead the championship by 33 points if he is to win the championship this round. If he leads it by 33 and more, he'll win the championship. If not, he will certainly lose out on it. There's other drivers, but I think the championship at the top is definitely fun and somewhat of what we have to look at. And the constructors' title, it is Williams who lead with 180 points, but only 20 ahead of Aston Martin, who are not far behind, could easily catch up and clinch that constructors' title going into the final round. Definitely they won't clinch the title going into the final round, but in the final round it could still be anybody's game with RB about 43 points, but still it could be interesting between RB and Ferrari, with Alpine and Red Bull fighting for fifth place as well. And there it is then. Let's get started. Hopefully the live and everything is going to be all okay and good to go. So Q1, obviously it's going to be the only session out here, but look at this one, the night race here at Abu Dhabi, the night race and night lights of the Yas Marina circuit. Jammers is already out. Meanwhile, Joker is the first one to start his flying lap along with Eve in that McLaren, running a complete black helmet out here, as that is Joker at the moment going around in the Alpine. The end of that first sector was 17.3. That is from him. What about Eve then, another driver having started his flying lap? 3/10 down on Joker in the first sector, along with Gemmers, who's just started his flying lap as well. He's far away. In fact, he's got to the end of that first sector as well. Unfortunately, we couldn't clip up where he started, or in fact where he was to the end of that first sector. What about Eve to the end of that middle sector? Of course, he's getting now heading in his around the second DRS zone. In fact, indeed the second DRS zone around here. This one does have a different different DRS detection point. Some tracks we see have, some tracks we do see have quite a few of them, have same DRS point, which obviously this one doesn't. Same DRS detection point, basically, which obviously this one has different. Meanwhile, we are already looking at this, and apparently I hope there is no issues, but my PC for some reason wants to turn the display on and off. But what about Joker here at this point? We got to forget about everything and look, a time for and a benchmark for everyone to beat, 123.7. That is. What about Eve? He's going to be the next car over the line. Can he get any closer? No, he can't. 125.5, quite a few tenths down. Then it is. In fact, Hay was on a lap as well. He's better than his teammate Eve. He's on 124.3 as well. What about anybody else who's going to be closer to that finish line? It's going to be Harvey in the other Sauber, 124.0, still 3/10 down on Joker's lap time. What about one of the Haas drivers? Both of them are out on a set of on an outlap. What about Leo, the championship leader, goes top of the timing charts and 122.983. First driver to go into the 122s. Are we going to be seeing anybody Next to go across that line, it is Mamba, but he's starting his flying lap rather than coming to the end of it. What about Estro? He's going to be coming to the end of it and go on to P7, slowest of them all so far. There's another car right behind, but they'll just be starting. In fact, they are not starting their lap at all. That is Paver indeed. Paver's through to the front row of the grid in P2, 123.102. Would have been fastest had Leo not posted time, but will be second fastest at the moment, but only to be beaten by MP, who goes on to the front row now, pushes Power down in P3 with 23.071, along with other drivers, and that is Liam, but he's in the Ferrari, just starting his flying lap, so he doesn't need to rather worry about it. What about the McLarens? We're looking at these guys, but they are going to be, in fact, Joker is now into the pits. What about the McLaren drivers? And we can see Hay into the pits as well, along with Eve is in fact not coming into the pits, but rather has continued on straight up. What about BAR here at the moment across that final corner now into fifth, then fourth, from fourth to fifth, goes on to P5. That is nice. Then come across the line in fifth place and go on to the fifth place on the grid here in qualifying so far. So job well done. Hopefully the live and everything is started. For a second, I'm just going to check it because usually we have our driver Cook started right now. I'm hoping he would have started right now, but just let's make sure it is on in case, so we could let him no, in fact it is on. Hopefully it's going to be all okay and somewhat of a fun race to watch here at season, in fact ninth race of the season and the second last race of the season around here, so hopefully it's going to be somewhat fun to watch, as well as there's many cars coming across that line. Mamba is going to be on a flying lap. Meanwhile, his teammate might have just started a flying lap at the moment as it stands, so a lot of things to look at. 11 minutes now remain. 13 drivers have got a time on board, along with Liam, who's posted a time fourth fast as well, 123.420. It might not be one of the very fastest time, but still very decent time to put himself into P4. Obviously, we had the look at the Drivers' Championship just at the start of the session. Obviously, that was, look for all of you watching to have a look at the Drivers and the Constructors title. But in the Drivers title is obviously the Constructors fun as well, but Drivers title could well be over if Leo outscores, and to the end of this weekend. He's over 33 points ahead of Cook, who's about 48 points behind him now. And Leo needs 33 points lead to clinch the championship at this weekend. What about Cook then over the finish line? In fact, he's a few corners away. Meanwhile, his teammate Mamba is in P7. But what is Cook going to be able to do? P2 in the Drivers' Championship, fighting to keep his championship alive this weekend. Can he get any closer to our championship leader? He is sure in that Drivers' Championship, but can he get it in qualifying as well? Over the finish line, where does he go? Goes on to P5, a couple of positions down. And nearly 122.983 and 123.654. So surely needs a bit of time to make if he wants to get closer to Leo at this point in time for sure. What about Liam? He's going to come into the pit lane. What about the House of Special? Is he on a flying lap and a lap that sees him go better? No, he doesn't. Special at the moment, so 15 drivers, 2 drivers who haven't got a time on board. Has to be Riley and Sprint. As it stands, and many drivers already heading into the pit lane then, so with 9.5 minutes remaining, half of the qualifying session is over. So then that means that, pretty much halfway over, 122.983 seems to be the fastest time. The closer are, MP within 1/10 of him, so very close, along with Power as well. He's not far away. Liam, 123.4, but surely the top 3 could well be challenging each other, and I think a time between these guys would be fun. What about Mamba, as he's just going to head into the pits? That was a late entry maybe, but comes into the pits in no time. So yeah, that could be interesting. And then from P4 all the way to P8, all in 123s, then 124s from P9 of Ben to P15 of Astro, all together and closer to the end of the first sector. What about Cook at the moment on a flying lap? But obviously that lap is not going to be counting, rather he's going to come into the pits. And now I think not a lot remains. So this part of qualifying and this time of qualifying especially, you are, as a driver, you're thinking, with over 8 minutes, like, do I go out already and then do a lap and then come back in, or I just, you know, stay in here for a few minutes, and then when only 3 or 4 minutes are remaining, I just put up enough fuel, have enough tires and grip for the end of qualifying and get a lap towards the very end, but then also, not run out of fuel or out of grip, so that, you know, doesn't ruin my race or lap. To say the least. Meanwhile, Jem is backed out of it, so he was not improving at the end of that first sector, so would have rather thought, let's back out of this one. Meanwhile, Eve is not on a flying, in fact, is now going to be on a flying lap with a brand new set of soft compound tyres. Doesn't improve in that first sector. 17.7 is the time. Can he get any better? Can he get any more out of this one, or he can't? It's going to be a good answer for us to get at the end of this middle sector, which obviously is going to currently try and past. Stay very nicely done into the chicane, second gear, third gear. He keeps it in third. On the exit, loses the rear slightly, gets back on power as quick as he can, but just might have lost a little bit of time, and we're going to see that reflect at the end of this middle sector. How much is it going to be? Yes, 4,000 down, 400ths of a second down. I think that might have just been what he would have lost on the exit there, and that could well indeed be reflecting on what could have been maybe a slight bit of an improvement, and somewhat it would have at least helped him improve in time, if not in position. He's still got the final sector, nearly hits the Nicholas Latifi wall there, and it could have been pretty bad had he hit that. Could have seen him get out of the session so far over the finish line. Does he find an improvement? In fact, yes, he does. Despite not improving in the first 2 sectors, he does improve in that final sector and goes ahead of his teammate and nearly into the top 10. Only a 10th down now on Harvey, who's in P10. P11 for Yi Eve, and surely now everyone who's on a fly would be getting a better time, because I think if we're going to see, you know, what about track evolution and track improving, you know, a lot of things to contribute to look at. But meanwhile, Powers went pole, Powers went quickest as we see Leo come into the pits. Power has powered through into the fastest time of the session and goes on to provisional pole. Meanwhile, MP beats it in no time as he beats Power's time and goes on to the front, goes on to pole position. 122.720, both the fastest time of the session so far. And now that is interesting with Liam out and out on an invalidated lap. Might have seen him improve or not. That's going to be only a question that we'll have unanswered. But what about anyone else behind? Joker's going to be there as well, currently in P7. How much does he got? 5 improves by about almost 3/10. But still falls slightly short. What about one of the other McLarens and the Sauber comes into the pits. McLaren driver starts their flying lap. What about Estro? Their teammates on pole. Can Estro get any closer or anywhere near the top 10? Over the finish line, does get into the top 10, into P9. Goes Estro there. Job well done to him. What about BAR, who's in P6. Meanwhile, Special has just begun their flying lap, and now that is definitely interesting. Definitely now track evolution is going to come into play, and with improvements in those final sectors, it's going to be a time. And surely Power came into the pits straight away after Leo came into the pits straight away after invalidating their laps, and now they're going to be in time to try and improve, try and find an extra bit of it that he needs for this, have a good start, have a pole position, and go on to the race with a good start. Meanwhile, Cook, who's just driver's second in the Drivers' Championship, currently down in P7, along with his teammates in P8. But remember, they're fighting for the Constructors' title as well. Meanwhile, one Williams is in P3, the other is down in P17. So, if you're going to say, okay, the Constructors' title, the Drivers' title is away, or it's not easy for Cook to get, but definitely, you're gonna be like, all right, let's try and get it for you, right? Let's try and get at least let's try and get the Constructors' title for the team, which would be an interesting thing to get in terms of 20 points separating the two teams in the Constructors' title, and especially a weekend like this where, sure, Cook and Mamba maybe not in the top 5 or top 3, but at least better as a team overall. But in fact, actually, it's not going to be much of a difference with even if Lever's in P3, even if you were to consider 15 points of him, they're going to be 15 points, and for Cook, it's going to be 8 in for P7, and for P6, and 6 points is going to be for eventually for, you know. Oh no, in fact, it's going to be 8 points, 6 points for Cook, and then 4 points for Mamba. So that's actually going to be 10 points, or rather, a P3 would be better than 2 cars in the top 10, rather. 1 car in the podium positions. Meanwhile, Special is looking to find a time. He's unable to do that. That looks like an official helmet almost. I wonder that he's got it from any of the events that usually happen around here. The only driver out on a flying lap at the moment, of course, along with Liam, who's trying to try and find an improvement as well. Instead of brand new tires, he'll get the McLaren, get out of his way, just about finds 67 milliseconds out on his flying lap at the moment. Meanwhile, Special, but he's down and not improving at all. A couple of seconds down on his time, and will not be finding an improvement by the looks of it. And he needs a lot of time. Nearly hits the wall on the inside line, nearly keeps it away. That could have been pretty bad had he made contact with the wall. Qualifying would have been over for both for the Haas driver. These two, Sprint and Riley, haven't got a time on board. I wonder if they've got a qualifying ban or something, because sometimes, okay, we see drivers don't come out, but then a couple of times it does happen, you know. Eventually drivers get somewhat of a qualifying ban, or here and there things happen. If that's the case, apologies about that. I haven't really, you know, quite been able to keep up, but I think might have been something similar, not quite sure, but hopefully everything's going to be okay. Let me know in the comments actually if the game audio is a bit too much, because usually I have it a lot less actually and increase the mic audio, but obviously still, you know, with brand new mic and everything, experiencing things still, obviously, you know, new headset and everything, learning things on, you know, what to keep and basically where to keep it. Obviously right now, you know, I'm much calm and, you know, definitely probably the calmest you can see me, but as soon as we have somewhat of fight out on track in the race, only then it's going to be things. It's only going to, you know, it's only going to be then when things get serious and we obviously get to our work. So at the moment, 2:10s improving is Joker at the moment on his time. Anybody else over the line starting the lap? It's going to be Leo along with Cook Bain as well starting the lap, and that's going to be interesting now. 26 seconds now remain in this qualifying session, so whoever comes over the line will be starting their lap, but whoever starts their lap now will be coming to the end of this one, and without a, you know, they'll be getting this an only lap. They'll not be getting much of it at all. He found a bunch of time on his previous lap. How much can he find on this one though? Will he need a lot? He needs much, surely needs a lot of it, and on the exit there doesn't find much, makes a slight little mistake on the exit of the final corner, hits the curb, makes contact. Meanwhile, won't be finding much. What about the RP of Ben? There goes P6. What about Liam in the Ferrari? Is going to be coming over the line, not finding anything at all. Joker 2:10s down on his previous time as well. Qualifying's now over. Whoever comes across the line will be having to get in their qualifying session for sure. What about Joker? He needs at least only in fact a few thousandth of a second to go on to P4. Does he only go P4 or even better? He doesn't go anywhere, in fact. Doesn't put an improved time at all. Meanwhile, a Saub is there, but we're going to focus on MP, who's not going to do much of an improved time at all. What about the Mercer? What about the Williams of Leo over the finish line? Does find an improvement, but not enough. In fact, in the end, Cook goes on to P4, but Power once again improves his margin and goes on to pole position in the late moments of qualifying. Power's going to go powering through to P1. In the end, MP has invalidated his lap, so that would not mean anything at all, but the pole position is going to go to Power, who's pushed himself up onto provisional pole, and 1:22.518 is going to be the time that he's put up, over 2:10s better than second in MP with Leo. He did find an improvement, but not enough in the end. Almost about 8 800th of a second, nearly even less than that. So that is going to be a lot of time. It was going to be a lot of time for Leo to find. Unfortunately, wasn't able to do that, but still, he's in P3 and Cook in P4. That's surely going to be interesting. The true top two in the championship on the same row, onto the second row of the grid. So definitely that is going to be a bit of a fight to see as we are having Eve come into the pit lane as soon as that McLaren is into the pits and ready. We're going to get to the end of qualifying, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is your pole sitter and the driver who set up the fastest time of the session around here. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be your qualifying order and the grid order for the race. Power on pole with MP in P3, P2, Leo in P3 with Cook, Liam, Joker, Harvey, Ben, BAR and Estro completing out the top 10. Just outside, Mamba, Eve, Hay, Gemmers, Special, and then Riley and Sprint without a time on board. I'm assuming they would have had somewhat of a restriction, restricting them from setting up a time in qualifying, but the top 15 were the times for you all. Now we should be getting to the end of the session. Hope you all watching enjoyed it and really having fun, because now this is interesting. Power on pole with MP in P2. Let's have one more look on that drivers' championship around here. So, interestingly, Power in P3 he's only a couple of points behind, behind Cook. So maybe we could say that Leo has the driver's title, but second place could still be on the cards at the moment. Obviously, Mercedes is present, which I think MP might be present out here. That's what I'm going to assume, considering I've already seen him in that Mercedes. Obviously, he's definitely would be racing with a different name, what would be on Discord, but I think P7 at the moment. Mercedes down in the Constructors title, but still, I think for Power to fight for that second place in the Drivers' Championship would still be a nice result. It might not be the Drivers' title, but it's good. It's nice sometimes for drivers to have, for everyone around to really have. And interesting now. So we're going to be here for a moment, and as soon as we are ready to go racing, and we are going racing, we'll be back. Up until then, stick around here, don't go anywhere. We are in for an absolute fantastic round 9 of the season. As we're looking at this one, it's going to be 5 lights out, and we go racing here at the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, already getting started without a formation lap. It's going to be a good start for Power, a very good start for Leo as well. He's already jumped up the top drivers. Meanwhile, Cook is fighting with side by side with the Mercedes of MP, and now Cook has jumped up Leo. They're going to be side by side, still going all 3 wide. They're going to be drivers at the back. Meanwhile, Cook has lost out, and Liam's going to be now around the outside as well. Leo's going to try all he can on the inside line of the Mercedes into turn 5. No, he doesn't do that. Meanwhile, Liam comes around the outside. Cook is losing and gaining a couple of positions there. Liam and Leo are going side by side. They're all going at it and going for it there. Meanwhile, Power has kept up his lead and continues on with his championship. Meanwhile, every single one of them has started on a set of medium compound tyres, so that is interesting. 29 laps of racing, and already we're seeing things out there. MP's got up his second place back and keeps it on to himself. Meanwhile, Liam in P3 with Leo in P4, and he's going to be in big pressure from Cook at the moment. Not at the moment though, in fact, Leo's now trying for it, and Leo's trying to go and get ahead of MP, but when can he do that? Or in fact, can he even do that or not? That's going to be interesting to see, because he's surely not leaving him at all. He's going to go down the inside line. They're going to be side by side and nearly make contact, and just comes out of it. Not just now though, now it's going to be even a bit more pressure on Leo there. Or in fact, Liam is going to be making a mistake, going slightly wide, and that's going to allow Leo to come back, and on the inside line through goes Leo and into third place and back into the podium positions and where he started. But Cook has at least managed to be in P5, at least keep it to himself. That is interesting. So at the moment Leo's going to be scoring 15 points, so that is about almost 48. You're going to add 15. That's about 58, then about 63 points overall, but those, about 48 points, I believe it was, but I think we can do the calculations later on rather than focusing on the action right now. But I think it's easing off just about now, because definitely lap 1 was the action. Everybody wanted to fight, and definitely everyone was going to be fighting up for positions. Looking at the back here, Cook in P5, obviously that Joker in P6 with Ben in P7. He might have lost out positions, qualified in P7. out there. So Estro in P9. P8 at the moment is going to be a bit pressure from PAR there. PAR in the house going to go around the outside and make that move and up ahead of that Mercedes into the end of that middle sector, and he's going to go on the inside line. He's going to be sending it Estro. He's not going to let him have it easy at all. They're going to be side by side. They're going to make contact, and PAR is going to be put into the wall by the Mercedes, who came round the out, was side by side, trying to come back on the track, but not the right way, as he might have not seen his mirrors, as he had a car around the outside of him, and he's completely went into the wall. So everybody started on a set of medium compound tires, and as it stands, it rather is going to be a 1-2 stop race in this one. Medium hard. Meanwhile, Gemmers is going to be putting up that pressure on that McLaren of Eve out there in P11 in these final positions, which is going to be interesting to see around here. Lap 3 out of 29, and the action is on around here. So already drivers with penalties. PAR's got a 10-second time penalty, so might have been coming into the pit lane with Hay with a 3-second time penalty as well. So that is interesting, and they're only one stop. In fact, Hay is in the pits, so is PAR, who might have got his penalty just about right now. And these are your drivers gaining and losing positions. Meanwhile, the Mercedes of Astra might have just lost out the position right now, as we're looking at this one. Nearly goes into the back of Harvey there, so he's just continuing on, still keeping it on though. Meanwhile, at the top of the racing, we are seeing the race lead has been switched up, and Power has got up that lead, and in fact Power has lost out that lead with MP3 in P1, and now leads the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Your new leader of this race, ladies and gentlemen, Leo, still in P3, just maintaining ahead of Liam at the moment, 15 points. With Cook's 10 points to his championship campaign. So at the moment, you know, those 10 points are, let's have a look at this actually. We might be seeing a bit of action, but so looking at this one, you know, the title, 48 points, right? It is, it needs 48 points. So 10 points on Leo, still gonna have, is still going to be, you know, having Leo lead by 38 points, even if we are not counting Leo's points. But then again, if we count Leo's points overall, it's going to be, you know, 48 points. So 63 if we can add his 15 points. But then even if we minus out 10 out of that, that's going to be 43. So at the moment as it stands, Leo is going to be your champion of this season, your old racing champion at the moment so far, but that could nearly change as he slightly goes wide, and that might allow Liam to come back at him, and there could well be a chance for Leo to be in big pressure from Liam. They're going to be right behind of each other, ahead and single file still, but Liam's going to go around the inside, down the inside line, and send it there, and he's through already, has made the move. Meanwhile at the top, the race leaders are fighting as well. The top two are at it for the race lead, and then Liam and Leo are at it for the final podium position out there. Meanwhile, Cook is in P5. Sorry for those fumbles here and there, but obviously it's going to be a bit, you know, keeping it all together with this battle that happens here and there. But obviously we need to focus on this one now. Lap 4 is going to turn into lap 5 out there. Meanwhile at the back, Leo's left out at the moment. In fact, trying to get away then in terms of you know, just exiting out of that car to cool down his engine, cool down his tires, which obviously a lot of tire wear happens as well if you're following a car behind. Meanwhile at the back, or in fact Cook is now going to be right behind Leo, and that pressure is going to be on the Williams driver. Meanwhile down the inside, for a moment you've thought Joker's going to go for it. Has he knocked off the bollard there? In fact no, he has not. That bollard is still where it was. Nearly misses, does Joker from that bollard. It's going to be interesting to say the least. Is he going to go on the inside line now? Cook in fact no. In fact Leo is going to move to the outside, away from the racing line. In fact just trying to get away from the slipstream, and he might not have the exit. He might have not had a good exit, as Liam's got a fantastic one, and Leo will be in a big bit of pressure from Cook there. The two championship protagonists, the two championship rivals, could well be fighting each other off here, and that is just going to be enough for Leo. And a retirement has happened out here on lap 5 out of 29, and not quite sure what exactly has happened here, as we've missed out on this one. But the safety car is in, safety car is out on the track, as Special has crashed out already on lap 5 out of 29. And obviously every single one of them being on a set of medium tyres, we should be seeing them come into the pit lane though. Maybe not those who've already pitted. 3 drivers have so far pitted in this race. That is Gemmers, BAR and Hay, which I think all of them are going to be staying out. In fact, interestingly so, Hay is on a set of mediums, so he might come in. He's on a set of mediums. With Gemmers, who just pitted on the previous lap, and BAR on the 2-lap older hard compound tires. And everyone now should be going on to a set of hards. But then, so that's going to be interesting to see. You know, if these drivers are going to go to a set of hards, so it'll be interesting to you know, if the top drivers are going to go on the set of hards, and even if we see them do not 15 laps from here on those set of hards, you know, rather we're going to see them, you know, go to like lap 20, 21 on a set of these hards, if they are to do anywhere near 15 laps on these hard compound tires, then a possible to the end a set of mediums, so a possible, you know, medium hard, medium strategy, if only we don't get another safety car. Of course, if we get another safety car, or, you know, similar things happen, obviously we will be seeing different things out here. So at the moment, lap 6 out from 29, the safety car is out. MP leads ahead of Sprint in there, but interesting to see. Sprint is currently ghosted, which I don't know why. I wonder if they're kicked from the session and the AI is driving it, because they're not lapped though, they're in P2, and that is interesting. 50, oh, he's not pitted, alright. So Riley and Sprint have not pitted, so that's the reason they are down in P1 and 2, which obviously is going to be the case. Meanwhile, Astro's retired from the session as well. I wonder if they've crashed out or something has happened that would have caused their retirement out of this one. Let's have a look at this one then. As oh, that is interesting. I think that Mercedes disappeared out of it already, and already we have 2 drivers out of this session. So obviously safety car is going to be there. So MP leads ahead of Sprint, ahead of Riley without a pit stop. Then comes Paver along with Leo in P6 then, but still he's got Cook still behind him, so he doesn't need to worry about that at all as it stands. So Leo in P6, Cook in P7 with Joker in P8, Ben in P9 with Harvey completing out the top 10 just outside Arif, BAR, Mamba, Gemmers and Hay in P15 with Special and Astro out of this session so far. Lap 7 out of 29, so safety car either stays out this lap and we get a lap 9 restart, or it comes into the end of this lap and we get a lap 8 restart in this one. So we're just gonna I'll just let you guys enjoy the sounds of these cars for a moment, and as soon as we're ready to go restart, as soon as we're ready to go racing, we'll be back. And there we go then, so we are back and the safety car indeed will be in this lap, and that surely means we are ready to go racing and ready for the safety car restart. Already position switching, but obviously those drivers trying to go double file, which obviously is banned in real life. You cannot do that after the 2021 Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. A lot has changed and we are here in Abu Dhabi once more, and definitely, in fact, BAR has got another time penalty, 3 seconds headed to his 10-second penalty already. Meanwhile, MPs went for it already. Sprint and Riley in between are going to be a bit of a pressure for Powers, but they're both ghosted, so they should be getting out of the way. I wonder if they lapped or something, because apparently they are racing. Meanwhile, Look at this one, then MP's got an absolute fantastic start. Power's going to get ahead of him. So will Liam. What about Leo, though? Meanwhile, Leo and Cook could well be fighting each other out here at the top. Meanwhile, at the back, Ben is right behind the Alpine of Joker out there as it stands. So that is going to be interesting between the two. Meanwhile, Eve is not far behind that McLaren as well. And that McLaren's going to go on the inside of Harvey. He's going to make the move stick. They're going to be side by side. Harvey might try and come back at him. Is he going to be able to do that? He's pushed wide. He's pushed very wide. They're still going to be side by side. He's going to try and come back at him. Is Eve going to let him get past? I don't think so, but surely, he nearly hits him there trying to come back onto the racing line. Did Harvey, but makes it nice and easy. Meanwhile, at the top, we're trying to go at this one. Liam has caught up. Liam has got up and into third place ahead of Sprint. Meanwhile, Sprint is now going to get passed by his teammate as well, as Leo is back into P4 with Cook down in P6. As Cook's now going to make position. Cook is making a position on Sprint as well, obviously Sprint and Riley, remember, being on old tyres, we're going to be able to hold on anybody for too long, as Joker is now through on Sprint as well. So is Ben making into P7. It's Sprint and Riley both down in P8, and then I think they're also not driving as well. It must be the AI drivers driving their cars. Obviously, I think that would have actually be the reason that they haven't pitted. So they might just not be in the session, in my opinion, as it stands then. So looking at this one, I think not far is between these guys as well, as Eve is going to try and get closer to Harvey, who's going to be putting up that pressure on the AI of Williams. And now these two are going to be there. Meanwhile, VAR has retired. I wonder if he's retired in the pits, which he must have. In fact, he should have. As it stands then. So with a race lead at the top, MP leads ahead of Pavro by 1.9 seconds, with Pavro in P2. 8 tenths ahead of Liam, and Leo's now only 3 tenths behind Liam. Not far separate, not much is separating by these two, and Leo is going to try and do all that pressure and put all that pressure on Liam out here to take that third place, because he knows that's important. He knows he needs to take that. Only on lap 9, still a lot remains in this race, more than half. The race is remaining around here, but Leo is going to be eager to take that third place, but so will be Liam, who'll try and take that second place from Paver. He's not far away as well, 5 tenths separating these guys, so it is still a bit of an interesting thing between these guys, to say the least, but still early doors in this race, you have to say. Lap 9 out of 29, we're going to get into lap 10, but so much more remains. 6 tenths between these guys. Leo in P4 with Cook in P5 at the moment, just still staying behind Leo as well, not going for aggressive moves or something, too much of it. Obviously, knowing that there's so much remaining in this one so far. Joker in P6 with Ben in P7, followed by Harvey, Eve and Mamba completing out the top 10 just outside the Gemmers. Hay, Sprint and Riley on their own. So interesting, I think this little fight could be on between Mamba and Eve there. This is separated by about 5 tenths between the two drivers. Meanwhile, at the top, this could be interesting, as Cook is only 3 tenths behind Leo, and Leo's about over 8 tenths behind Liam. Liam is not far behind Power at all. He's only 3 tenths behind Power with the DRS activated on the Ferrari and nothing on that RB. This could well be a chance for Liam to go for it, and he indeed is going to go for it around the outside, but Power is not going to be able to defend this at all. And now Cook's going to go around the outside. They're going to be side by side, the two championship rivals. They're almost going to make contact, nearly miss each other off, and they're going to be still side by side. He's going to have the inside line, Cook, but Leo's going to be around the outside, and now he's going to have the inside line. They're still going to be side by side. There comes the Latifi wall. Nearly contacts with it does Leo, and Leo does Cook, and he takes the position and overtakes ahead of Leo into P4. Takes the position, does Cook, and job well done so far for Cook at the moment as it stands, and well done to him as it stands. For how long though, that is going to be a question to ask. For later, but so far they've done it, and I think at least they've shown what they can do. They can definitely touch, not only challenge but finish ahead of Leo as well, without a doubt. At the moment as it stands, we are up for it once more. Leo's moving to the outside to just stay out of this little, maybe trying to not give any toe to Joker, but he's caught up now as well. Definitely Leo was just trying to, get out of this one to cool things down, to cool down all of the engine temperatures and everything that would have, have him give a little bit of track training and everything. Basically, you have high temperatures. It's not a good thing at all. And Leo now 2/10 between Cook and Leo at the moment, still staying within each other. As Power's going to be a bit of pressure. Power hasn't got the restart better at all. He's been overtaken by Liam, and then now almost on the verge to get overtaken by Cook, Leo, and Joker as well. Surely it's going to be a four-way fight for P3 with Power, Cook, and Leo, along with Power, Cook, Leo, along with Joker involved as well. Ben is over for 1.4 seconds behind, so not much, between for him to catch up. Maybe he could catch up as well if these guys are to fight. If these guys are to fight for it, fight it for a little bit while, they can catch up easy, nice and easy. They can catch up for sure. As now this is going to be interesting, as Joker's not going to be far behind Leo at this point. Another retiree, and that's going to be Hay out of this one. And surely Leo's not really having the race, or it's decent. P5 is obviously not bad, but considering he would have, his hope of taking the championship overall away from Cook. We'll calculate it. Obviously, I'll have my calculator out to the end of this race and to know where it's going to be, where things are going to be at the end of this race. But we'll figure it out later on. Well, Hayes' car is out of the pit lane, and 4 retirees out of this one as Cook is through, as Cook makes his way up into P3 and overtakes Power as well. Power's going to lose out another position, and another driver gets overtaken by Power at this point, and an overtake and a job well done for the Aston Martin driver. Remember, they're not only fighting for the driver's title, but the constructor's title is on the line as well. Currently, Aston Martin has 2 drivers in the points as compared to Williams, who only have 1 of their driver in the points at the moment. And my screen disappeared, but it's coming back just about now, as I think these guys might just have AIs fighting each other. In fact, they are going to be the AIs fighting each other's points as it stands, so rather not focus on that. Meanwhile, Eve is 6 points, 7/10 by Mamba, who's about 4/10 behind Harvey. So they're in their own little race, and 3-car battle could well be on for these final few points positions. Obviously, they'll be looking to get better. Mamba would be looking to get a position better to help his team have a better chance to take the lead, or just at least be close, or be in the fight for the constructor's title going into the final round next time around. So Ben, P7. Now these guys are still within 1 second of each other, so that's going to be nicely done, as Power's now going to get the opportunity to come back at him and overtake him once more. And yes, he's going to do that this time around the outside. The rear wing's open, the DRS on that RB is on, and that extra speed is going to help him get through and ahead of Cook into P3. Cook now might be in a bit of pressure from Leo as well, as Leo's going to try and all he can, but as it stands, he's unable to get past. He needs to make sure that he does it nice and easy, because there is Joker behind him, and not far behind at all. Joker is not far behind him at all, and it could all go against him. It could all go here and there for Leo. He has a big lead though, actually. Interestingly, actually, yes. So interestingly, for Cook to save the championship, he's gonna. Indeed, yes. So for Cook to save the championship, he's going to have to finish in P2, and eventually Leo doesn't score any points. So in fact, if Leo scores even a few points, he's going to be the champion anyways. Meanwhile, Mamba has overtaken him, and has he overtaken him enough though? Not quite sure. They're going to be side by side, as they're still going to be side by side though on the exit there. Harvey's got a better exit. Meanwhile, Leo's Power's overtaking him once more, and now Leo's going to be coming out for him as well around the outside. Nearly goes into the back of that RB, and another opportunity will be on the way for him to overtake, but for Power to have a go as well. Is he going to be able to get it? Not quite sure, not this time though. Leo might think about it for a moment. I don't think so. He's going to go for it on the inside line. No, in fact, he will not be. He doesn't get let past, as we are about to be to the end of this lap 14 and go on to lap 14. Obviously, 14 and a half laps is going to be 29 laps to the end. So pretty much we are halfway distance and more than half, about halfway done now of this Grand Prix. We got to do what we've just done about right now. So that, ladies and gentlemen, at the moment the fight is on. So at the moment as it stands, you know, Leo scoring 10 points obviously for P5, but Cook is scoring P15 for P3. So 48 points for him. You know, he's going to score 15 points. And that's still going to be about 33 points, right? He's still going to be 33 points then for, yeah, eventually for, you know, with his 48 points lead, it's going to be still in fact going to be 33 points for Leo. So if in fact if Leo doesn't score, obviously Leo is scoring 10 as well. So at the moment, nice and easy is the championship to Leo's hand. So I think he's just going to be making it easy, just easy and calm. I think he knows that even this type of position is a decent one for him. I think he'll be doing that, and Cook definitely has that bit of pressure to keep his championship hopes alive mathematically, obviously, as now it's going to be an opportunity for Power to get past once more around the outside. Is going to go for it. Cook's not going to have enough. Meanwhile, Liam at the top, what we did not see coming at all has happened, and he's done what no one expected, as now Liam leads the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix and your new race leader here in this one, ladies and gentlemen. And now 9 laps on these hard compound tyres, maximum of possibly 3, 4 or 5 more laps, considering they did a few behind the safety car as well. So definitely they'll have a bit more of grip and more tyre percentage remaining as compared to usual 10 or 15 laps they do. So possibly a few extra laps because of the safety car, but not a lot now. Not a lot remains before we could get to the end of this race, before we could get to the end of this Grand Prix. Against the ring out here at the moment. Hope you're all watching, really enjoying, and definitely this this action is going to have you get glued to your screens, as now Old, in fact Joker, could well be having that bit of pressure on Leo, but no, in fact not at this point. What about Cook? Is he going to be any closer to make a move on Power there on the inside line into the chicane? Doesn't quite go for it. Joker nearly goes into the back of Leo there. That could well be interesting. I think that might have been race ending for a moment. Obviously not race ending, but at least could have bumped into the back of Leo, and that could have went into pretty bad for him. Meanwhile, Mamba for a moment you thought he's going to be very closer for him to make a move on RV, or in fact he indeed is going to be very close to make a move on RV on the inside line. I think he's going to send it. They're going to be side by side, nearly make contact, just keeping it out of it. They're still going to be side by side, but Mamba's through and ahead into P8 and has made the move and has made his position stick for the moment. Meanwhile, we're going to switch back to the top of the timing chart at the moment. The race lead for the race fight. The race lead fight, and definitely the fight for the race win, is definitely on, because you know that it's not far away, far the difference between these guys to fight each other, between Liam and MP as well. It could be anybody's game. It could be anyone's game out here as it stands, and definitely the freedom of having a wireless headset is you could be anywhere, obviously within the connectivity range, but then still be commentating. Meanwhile, there's going to be an opportunity for MP to get past him, as Liam's very closer to for Liam, very closer from getting overtaken. Is MP going to go on the inside line into the chicane? He's surely thinking about it. Who's going to be late on the brakes? Is it going to be Liam? Liam is going to have to be. In fact, he doesn't even need to be driving that aggressively. He's going to be already through. In fact, MP obviously, as he doesn't even need to be driving that aggressively. He's already through and up into the lead of the race once more. Definitely that lead switches here and there, and once more it's going to be Liam now around the outside. One DRS zone, he gets overtaken. The other DRS zone, he overtakes. Does Liam, and job well done for these drivers. We should see them come into the pits very soon, as we've had 4 drivers who we've lost in this race so far, and those drivers are Hey, BAR, Astro and Special, who are out of this one. We have 13 drivers in this one, which I believe 2 drivers AIs are driving. Meanwhile now, it's going to be Joker and Leo, as Joker's going to go for it round the outside and take his place, and up into 5th place as well. Job well done, and takes it, does Joker, and overtakes Leo, at least for the moment. Obviously, he won't be far behind, and won't be too long before Leo comes back at him, but job well done, and overtake has been done, and Leo now is out of the top 5. Let's get back into this one once more. Lap 18 out of 29 then. So, interestingly, we're now about 12 laps to the end, including this one, I believe. So, even after this one, actually. So, interestingly now remaining, in this race. Time for second pit stops. Obviously, sure, they're on the hard tires, but it'll be interesting to see whether they can, do complete this race on a set of these hard tires, which they currently are on, and they've definitely done, many laps. So it'll be doubtful to have a look on whether they'll be able to finish this race on these tires, or they will definitely need new tires, which I believe they will surely need new tires. That is for sure, without a doubt, to say the least. Lap 19 out of 29 at the top between these drivers as it stands. So now, obviously, these drivers are back. So looking at other drivers as well. So Liam leads ahead of MP by 4:10. So that fight would still be on. It could change anywhere and might just change around this straight now, as Liam in fact might well be about to lose his position already. We're about saying about losing the change at the straight. It might happen at the before it, as Liam's going to go defensive on the inside line very early. He's going to switch to the inside line, but he might just have done enough to defend his position so far. So Liam leads ahead of MP, ahead of Cook in P3, and a bit of pressure from Paver, who's in a bit of pressure from Joker, as Liam has lost out the position, but the DRS is now going to be different, and that DRS is going to be on that Ferrari now, and definitely that revving and extra speed could well be in a bit of advantage. Indeed it is the advantage for the Mercedes, and through into the race lead. Back once more is Liam, and now leads the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix one more time. And there we go then, pit stop. As pit stops we were talking about, Liam is into the pits. So 14 laps on those hard compound tyres as he's into the pit lane. As we're now going to see drivers coming in, so this could well be an undercut. This could interestingly be an undercut attempt, which we might not know about, but it could well be one. It could well be a big undercut attempt on MP at the moment. He obviously is going to try and pit now, so definitely I think for MP at the moment, rather if he has to gain anything right now at this point, he might need to stay out a little bit. He might need to stay out for a little bit longer than he'd want to, or we'd rather see him do, we'd rather see him pit right now. So Liam at the moment in P5, but everyone ahead now on old tyres. Definitely I don't think any of those at the front will be able to complete this race on these tyres, at least with pace. It's not impossible they can complete. We might see them not pit and go to the end, but then that'll be a hell of a work. That'll be proper Checo Perez drives, having to take care of these drivers, the tyres. So now looking at this, Power, Cook, Joker, and Leo at the moment. In fact, Cook has pitted already, so Cook has already pitted in a possible chance in a way. Does he pit? Yes, he does. MP does pit. What about anybody behind him? Does Power come in? Yes, he does. And everyone follows along with Joker and Leo. That's all interesting. At the moment, Liam is making his way around the final few corners. Cook at the moment just entering the hotel section as well. So that's now going to be interesting to see where everyone comes out. Liam's making his way around the main straight as he's out of his pit box, and now trying to come back on the track. This could well be interesting between Liam and MP. This is going to be a bit of a fight. In fact, no. It's going to be through and ahead, and surely the undercut has worked for Liam. But now that is an interesting choice. That is indeed an interesting choice. With Liam in P1, but on a set of hard compound tyres, with MP going on to a set of mediums, which could be interesting, to at least say the least, in terms of, he's going to have to fight. He's going to get a bit of extra grip, but only at the start. And if there's a bit of too much fighting going on between these drivers, that could well end up seeing somewhat of interesting thing. Meanwhile, Ben is going to try and come back at him. Ben has not bit. Ben has bit it, but a bit earlier than Cook out there, as Cook is going to be losing out that position to Ben now. Earlier he was fighting Barber, but Ben is in there as well. So both the RB drivers are in there. So now that is interesting. RB surely needs to strengthen their third place to stay ahead of Ferrari. Meanwhile, Ferrari driver Liam leads the race as well. So that is now interesting, as our race leader is going to head into lap 22 out of 29, and that fight for racing is going to be on. As what about Power at the moment? Lap for P5 out and just behind Cook for the moment within 110. Cook currently at the moment in an RB for Visa Kashep, RB Visa Kashep Racing Bulls sandwich, to be precise. To get that name. I think it'll be interesting to see what name they come up with next year. You never know. They could have a different name next time around. Oh, okay, that takes a little bit more curve. Takes a little bit more curve than he would have wanted. It has power, but how will it affect that? We're here to find out, as Cook's going to be through and ahead of Ben already and into P3 once more. Takes that podium spot, but Power's going to be right behind him as well. Power's going to overtake and ahead of Ben into P4. Job well done to him, and now the DRS is going to be on. The DRS is going to be on Power's car. Is he going to be able to get Power through Cook? Not quite sure. No, I don't think he's going to be close enough to be making that move just about right now. But that is interesting, and 2.1 seconds the gap between the two. Sure, Liam's got a fantastic undercut, but he's on a set of hards, and MP's on a set of mediums. So definitely it's going to be interesting. Liam's going to do all he can, but definitely one thing he's going to be sure is we're going to have to watch out. We're going to have to watch out for the extra speed, for the extra advantage that the medium tire will have to the hard tire of Liam. It's going to be interesting to say the least, considering the fact that 1.6 seconds is gaining on him, gaining rapidly, absolutely rapidly. He's gaining on him. That gap was over 2 seconds. There's now only 1.5 seconds now, and it is coming down in no time. And to the end of this race, it is definitely going to be battles. The battles are going to be igniting like no other time. Well, let's not forget about this one at the back. This is going to be interesting, as Joker's not far behind Ben at all. Joker's going to be through on the inside line of Ben. Ben's not going to be able to fight in this one, or in fact, he's going to be fighting this one as well. Joker goes wide. Joker goes wide. That might be an opportunity for Ben to get past. In fact, look at that. Cheeky from Ben. Ben didn't get past him there. Joker went a little bit wide, but Ben to take that advantage of that DRS has helped him, as now Leo's going to be overtaken as well. Leo's going to lose out to Ben. They're going to be side by side. Ben through ahead of Leo. They're still going to be side by side. Ben is through and ahead of Leo there. An overtake has been done, and he overtakes into P6. Well done to Ben so far, but definitely 6-lap older hards versus 2-lap older mediums. It'll be interesting to see Cook in P4 at the moment. So lap 24 out of 29 as it stands. And now not a lot remains. A lot could be happening out there. Power gets the fastest lap, and 1.3 seconds. The fight for the race lead is still going to be on. The fight for the lead is going to be on that we were talking about. And Leo is now again close. Leo's very close to Ben there, and that fight is going to be on between the two. Leo wants a good finish. Leo wants at least a minimum of a P5, or at least a top 5 finish for him. He's going to go for it on the inside line. That was an interesting view that we did not see him overtake him, but at least we could see him overtake him for sure, as now Cook is going to be able to overtake. One RB is fighting at the top, the other at the bottom of the points. And well done to Cook there, overtakes Joker as well, and gets back into P3. Now he's going to come back at him. Power's going to be coming back at him, and on the inside line's going to be through and back once more into the top 3. Nobody wants to back out of this. Nobody really wants to give up on any of these at all. And so far, the job well done. The job has been done for Cook, for in fact Power at the moment. So Leo at the moment in P6. That means he's getting about 6 or in fact, he's getting about 8 points, right? Yeah, so he's going to be getting about 10. P4 is going to be getting 12 points, obviously, depending on the fastest lap here and there, but at the moment, fastest lap is to Paver, so that is not got to do anything with the championship rival. So that could be interesting, ladies and gentlemen. You could have your old racing champion of season 5, if I'm not mistaken, around here tonight at the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, second last round of the season, round 9 of this 10 round season, and job well done to everyone around here. So an absolute fantastic. Meanwhile, Cook once more is going to be going for it on the inside line. No, if I will not be able to do that. And the update from the top of the timings. He seems to have caught his guard back, and already, as I said, those medium tires are not going to last you too long. So anything you got to do has to be now. Or maybe, obviously we don't have the information about it, but Liam could have just been charging up his battery. You know, Liam could just have been charging up his battery and really keeping things around in terms of, you know, just trying to charge his battery, trying to, you know, keeping things as calm as he can, but attack and really use it to get to his advantage as soon as he can. And definitely that could have been the case as well, because obviously the gap over 2 seconds came down to 1.3 seconds, and now again 1.9 second between these drivers as it stands. So surely job well done. Cook is the only Cook along with Leo. In fact, yes indeed, with Leo 4/10 to Joker, and Cook about 3/10 to 7/10 now to Paver, losing out a bit of time as well. Now that's going to be interesting, as Leo and Paver and Cook are going to be side by side. So will be Leo and Joker. They're going to be side by side. Who's going to be late on the brakes? Is it going to be Joker? Is it going to be Leo? And it has to be Leo on the inside line. Gets through and get past Joker there into P5. And job well done. And takes P5. That 26 out of 29. A couple of laps now remain, I think. It'll be crucial with the amount of overtakes and, you know, position switching we've seen. It'll still be interesting to see. You know, you could think, all right, we have the position, I have the position, but it might just not be the case when you get to the end of this race, when you get to the ending points, you know, ending laps of this one. A possible and an easy position switch could be on the way, and a position lost or a position losing chance could be on around here, as lap 27 has been entered by the race leader as well. So others in the race, obviously, let's get on to our race leader. 1.7 seconds to MP, and I think unless he makes a major mistake, a huge mistake that could allow MP, I think he should be secure. He should well be secured for this win around here. So looking at things, Liam in P1, MP in P2, Cook in P3. Just keep switching up between Cook and Paver, P3 and 4, with Leo in P5, followed by Joker in P6, with Ben in P7, lost out to the drivers at the top, Eve in P9, P8 at the moment as it stands, Harwi in P9 so far, with Mamba in P10 as it stands. My screen flickers for a moment, which obviously would not be the case for you guys, hopefully. And Gemma is in P11 at the moment. Meanwhile, these two air cars are still fighting each other, but only outside of the points is Gemma, Sprint, and Riley. So 4 drivers out of this race, and the drivers we've lost are Hay, BAR, Astro, and Specials. Two Haas drivers, 1 McLaren, and 1 Mercedes in this one that we have lost out so far. Alright, so if things end as they are, Leo will take the championship, and the driver will be your new driver's champion of Season 5 Olds Racing, ladies and gentlemen. Here, obviously, as round 9, so he's going to lead the championship by 43 points if things as they stay. Leo in P5 taking 10 points, so adding up to his 50, making it 58 points, but then obviously Cook making 15 points. We'll have it 43, and a slight little not so good of an exit from Power there. Might just allow for Leo to get closer, along with Joker behind as well, but slight faulty exit from Power there might just allow for Cook to get closer. Meanwhile, our race leader, and that will be interesting to see. In fact, it's got up to our lapped cars, so that's not going to be an issue at all. Meanwhile, a gap to the P2 is 2.4 seconds, 2.5 seconds. It's going to be a case as Liam has now entered the final race of the final lap of this Grand Prix, and definitely also let's not forget that Ferrari was fighting RB for third place in the Constructors Championship, so that's going to be a couple of good points for them as well, with 16 points overall to Aston Martin, over 20 points down on Williams. Going to be interesting as well. Obviously, Williams will be with 10 points, going to be making, having 30 points down, so so they're making at least 5 or 4 points, to say the least, on Williams, at least going into the final round. So that's going to be interesting, with the driver's title being over. The constructor's title could still be on the line and on the verge of getting to the end of this one. I think with the at the bottom, positions could switch. Anybody could switch, and it could go wrong. Meanwhile, we have our race leader on the final lap of the Grand Prix, the man who's driven very nicely. He had the challenge of MP, the challenge of Cook, Power and Leo, but he has got up and finished them all. He has conquered them all, as he's going to make his final corner now. And to the finish line goes Liam and wins the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. MP finishes in P2. Finish is about 9 seconds ahead of the next car. Cook is going to finish onto the podium in the 9th race of the season. Power in P4, with Leo in P5. He's going to come around the final corner now, and he will have the lead of over 43 points going into the final round. And Leo is going to be your champion of the season, ladies and gentlemen. Olds Racing champion of this season, ladies and gentlemen, as Leo is now surely, you're going to say that is on. Obviously, Leo's going to be your champion of the season, Tier 1, and win the championship, and the driver's title is over. The constructor's title might be the one that we'd have to fight for, but that was it then, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you all watching enjoyed it. And that was somewhat, as Liam is not going to be there. It's an all-British, it's an all-UK podium, but Liam wins the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Somewhat of an statement to end the season on a high. Obviously, one more round still remains, but at least job well done so far. Race winner, driver of the day. Fastest lap goes to Power. Most overtakes goes to Ben, and then well done to Cook, as cleanest driver goes on to him. And these are your race results, ladies and gentlemen. Liam wins ahead of MP in P2, with Cook in P3. Job well done to him for his podium, starting P4, finishes P3. Power in P4 after starting on pole position. Leo lost out 2 positions as well, finishing in P5. Joker in P6, finishing where he started. Ben gaining a position in P7 after starting P8. Job well done to him. Harvey in P8 with Eve, and Mama completing now at the top 10, just outside with Gemma's in P11, with obviously Sprint and Riley AI cars rumbling around, and the drivers out were Hay, BAR, Astro, and Special out of this one. So I hope you all watching really enjoyed it. This, ladies and gentlemen, was round 9 of Tier 1. This was fantastic, and I hope you all have had somewhat fun watching me commentate, watching me, bring life to action, racing action to life. So hope this was a great one, and from all of us here, at Olds Racing Community, it's myself, Zabi, and I'm out. Adios.